Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It is fantastic that you are here. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on the Buggles with their iconic song from 1979, Video Killed the Radio Star. Such a significant song, it was the first video to be ever played on MTV. So if you don't know the song Video Killed the Radio Star, have a look at my commentary below, click on that and you'll get to the link to hear a song which is still kind of ahead of its time a bit, even though it's 40 years old. Well, we go from there to a bunch of guys that were formed in Athens in Georgia in the United States in 1976. We had Fred Schneider on vocals, Kay Pearson on vocals and keyboards, Cindy Wilson on vocals, percussion, Ricky Wilson on guitar, and Keith Strickland on drums. And of course, the guys we're talking about are the psychedelic, rock and roll, pop influenced, trash culture influenced B-52's. Yeah, they got their name because apparently the girls had this beehive hairdo that reminded you of the 60s a little bit, and so they got their name from that, and that certainly has been their trademark look. Now these guys are just very quirky and they're very crazy, and they're not scared to just write about anything at all, really, which makes these guys so compelling. We'll get onto one of their songs in a minute that made these guys famous. Now, between 1979 and 2008, they have released 7 albums. Now, there was tragedy in this particular band around 1985 because Ricky Wilson, who was pretty well the main musician in this band, can think about the fact that the only sort of melodic instruments were keyboards and guitars. There was no bass guitar at the start either, so Ricky was carrying all of that pretty much on his own. But this is what made the B-52's sound so compelling to listen to, that it was just so different and people couldn't help but get up and dance to them. Well, unfortunately, Ricky died in 1985 only at the age of 32. Now, this well and truly rocked the band, in particular his sister Cindy Wilson, who's also in the B-52's, and so they needed to have a bit of a break to regroup and work out what to do from there, because obviously losing the significant person like Ricky meant that they completely had to change things up to get it to work, which is great because in a couple of clips you'll see later, in 2011, these guys were still performing live at that point. So yeah, a bit of a different band, these guys. Psychedelic, trash culture, rock and roll influences, pop influences from the 90s, 50s and 60s. Just everything that makes the B-52's the B-52's. Now, we can't talk about the B-52's without talking about one song in particular, and this is the song Rock Lobster, which actually came off an album of the same name in 1979. Now, there were some really interesting lyrics in this song. We're at a party. His earlobe fell in the deep. Someone reached and grabbed it. It was not a rock, it was a rock lobster. Something about air hoses breaking and boys in bikinis and all the rest of it. Now, as you listen to these lyrics, you think, what on earth is this song about? I think there's a very simple answer to that question, and that is, who cares? This song is so fun, this song is so energetic, this song is so unique, it does not really matter what it is about. The lyrics are there to keep us interested and to keep us excited and to capture what is a song about a rock lobster, or whatever a rock lobster actually means. But who cares what it's about? This song is all about having fun. This song, as you watch the clip in a minute, you'll see these guys just get carried away. They're not just singing their song, they're performing the story, whatever that is, at the same time. I mean, well, you all know Fred Schneider's vocals. It's not so much a singing voice, it's a singing slash speaking voice. The girls sing and sing quite well. He comes across with almost speaking the melody, which makes the B-52's such a compelling act indeed. Sometimes I think in this world we need to find out about things before we do them sometimes. You know, I think about when I used to go to the movies when I was a kid. You know, I remember when Star Wars was released in 1977. All that we really had to go on with Star Wars was a movie poster. That was it. Sure, we could see it was science fiction and there was some groovy looking spaceships in there and this big Death Star looking thing, but there were no trailers. There was none of that stuff. We went, even though we didn't know what it was going to be about. And of course, the deal with Star Wars is the rest is history. You know, I was really, really surprised by the story. I was really surprised by the effects. I was surprised by the characters. I was surprised by everything. I didn't need to see a trailer beforehand. I just went. And certainly in this day of the internet, whether you can see the trailers before you do anything, everything has to be disclosed these days. I remember the Christmas pageant in Adelaide. We have a thing that says what the floats are going to be. When I was a kid, I didn't care. I just wanted to see them. I didn't need to know what was coming next. I just wanted to be surprised. And there's wonder and magic in being surprised. I wonder in this world where everybody's got to find out stuff beforehand, we have constant people just reviewing stuff all the time. We have people giving their critics and people giving their thoughts and all the rest of it. We see the word no spoilers or spoiler alert said so often these days that this thing of wonder and discovery seems to have been forgotten. We need to find out about stuff before we do it. Well, I don't know about that sometimes. I just wonder, sometimes it's good to be surprised. You know, what about when we're driving, for instance? We want to get to a certain place and then we get the GPS out and that tells us how to get there. We don't have to think about how to get there. GPS tells us. But you know what? If I'm going somewhere and say it's that way, I just drive that way and I will work it out as I go. My brain gets an opportunity to enjoy the experience. I think we always need to leave space in this world to be surprised and to be amazed. If we go into life knowing everything beforehand, well, there's no surprise and no amazement. It's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. And I think, you know, the reason fireworks I think are so popular is because there is this amazement factor. We don't get a bit of a dossier before saying, okay, we're going to have 2 red ones and then 3 green ones and then 2 blue ones. No, we just experience it. And I think there's an argument to say that in life we need to just do that more. We need to forget about the websites that tell us what's going to happen before we get there. Sometimes we need to forget about those things and we need to just go and wait and see what happens. No, and if it is that you think, oh gosh, why am I here? Put that aside and think, well, I'm here. You know, someone's gone to the effort here to do this. So let's just put aside the whatever and actually just get into it. And you might find something exciting from the most unusualest of places. Life is here to surprise us and to amaze us and to excite us. If we try and get reviews of everything before we go, that excitement and amazement disappears. I don't know about you. I want to be amazed and excited. I want to feel the exhilaration of not knowing what's coming sometimes. And I think we can take that into our lives as well. If we're involved in our work, sure, yes, we know what's going to happen in the day, But let's also hold it a little bit loosely as well. Yes, we do what we need to get done, but at the same time we hold it a bit loosely because there might be something surprising that crops up that if we're just so hell-bent on meeting our targets that we will miss out on. Life can take on a whole new reason and a whole new exciting reason for being if we hold it a little bit loosely and forget about the reviews and the critics and all the rest of it and just enjoy life for what it is. Well, this is what the B-52's were certainly doing in 1979 when out came this song Rock Lobster. The clip is just so compelling, it is so unusual, it's so ridiculous, it's stupid, it is just the B-52's. It is Rock Lobster. What more can we say? But you know what? When a song is played on the jukebox when you're out, your feet start tapping. It's such a recognisable song. So let's hold on to life just a little bit loosely. Let's not get so hell-bent on finding out everything before we go. Sometimes let's be surprised and see what happens. I think, you know, when there are beautiful sunsets, and I know in Adelaide we get stunning sunsets here, often there are a lot of photos on Facebook afterwards about the beautiful sunset. Gee, so beautiful to be surprised. We can build surprise into every part of our lives these days. So let's think about that. Well, and I hope, as always, that all of that will be an encouragement for you. Well, on to the clips. Well, we have to have Rock Lobster, and this came off the album of the same name in 1979. And this is the official / live version. I think it's probably more official than live, but of this song, and you see how original and unique the B-52's actually were back here and are a little bit still. In this particular clip, you see Ricky Wilson on guitar, and you can see just how much he carries the sound of the B-52's, and rest in peace, Ricky, that is for sure. We then have the song Love Shack. This came out a little bit later, 1989, off the album Cosmic Thing. This song was massive for the B-52's. This song was heralded by the Rolling Stone as is in the top 500 singles of all time. I think around 246th, and it was the single of the year in 1989. And so we have to have Love Shack because it was such a breakthrough song as the B-52's in a sense reacquainted themselves with a new sound. And so that's a live version of that one, and here you get to see Fred Schneider actually doing what he does best with the way that he takes up lead vocals at the front. That's a live version. And then we've also, off the same album, Cosmic Things, the song Rome. This also is a live version, and here you see the girls singing, and you just see how incredible their voices are and how well they sing together. So the links to those songs are in the description below. And by the way, if you want to recap on my last video from the Buggles, there's kind of a similar theme in both of these guys. I'm thinking a little bit, both around 1979. Feel free to have a look at that one as well. Well, if you've come back for another video, thank you very much. If you're here for the first time, again, welcome to the channel. And if you've hung around to the end, really good indeed. Well, that's it for today. Next time, we're going to go on to one of the most influential artists of all time, and that is the master songwriter, Bob Dylan. As we round out the B's in this series, we're going to leave one of the most influential B's till the end. So until then, I'll catch you around.